Gonna keep this quick and to the point, kind of like this movie at times. And I think that's really where my biggest issue with Nobody 2 comes in, is that while it is a very fun sequel, I really enjoy how we do develop the world a little bit more. We develop the characters a little bit more too. I like that Nobody 2 is more focused on the character growth of what's happened since the last movie. I appreciate that here with Nobody 2 being a sequel to what Nobody 1 did, which is bring in Bob Odenkirk and make him this badass role, this like guy, this dad who's just, he's tired. He doesn't really know what he's doing with life. He's bored. He doesn't really know why he's bored. And I love that first Nobody movie because it was just such a concise, fun, action-packed journey, and it was quick and to the point. It knew what it was. Bob Odenkirk had so much fun with himself in the movie. Bob Odenkirk's character being this guy who does essentially the cleanup. He does this dirty work for these people, and he essentially has to take lives, and that's something he didn't hide from his family, actually. Like, his wife knew about it, and I like that here we're taking a step from the first movie and we're just elevating it. I like that the second movie is a lot of consequence from their decisions at the end of the first film to keep their secret lives going while trying to raise a family. I thought that they did a good job at bringing in drama for the sequel without making it feel too ham-fisted. What bothered me, I think, with Nobody 2 is that sometimes Nobody 2, while still being a lot of fun, and I thought the cast was great, and I really loved the chemistry and the electricity between Bob Odenkirk and Connie Nielsen. I thought they were a great married couple. I really like that their relationship doesn't feel one-sided. You get a nice three-dimensional viewpoint of them in their relationship. It feels like they're a very realistic couple. I love that they're both accepting of each other. They have realistic conflicts, but they are clearly in love. Like, there are scenes where she is frustrated with him and how he is not really delegating his time to the family and work at the same time. This movie's about a work-life balance and how that affects your family, essentially, but it's packaged in an action movie, and I think that's a lot of fun. There's a sense of heightened reality with this, with the family being so accepting of what they are. Yes, with some conflict, but I thought this movie explored the genetics of Bob Odenkirk's character with his kids, also just how his wife is like him. I thought this movie did a great job of highlighting how the family as a whole is similar. This felt more like a family ensemble piece than just Nobody 2, just Bob Odenkirk, which I really appreciated. With that ensemble piece feeling, I do feel like sometimes the movie does lose a bit of focus, but that more comes from the villains. I found the villains in this to be not that compelling, and at least I think if they just picked one villain, it could have been more compelling, but as it stands, there's like 3 antagonists in this movie, and the movie doesn't do a great job of balancing all of them. It runs into that issue where you have 3 characters that are antagonists, but one of them is the most interesting, while the others kind of fall to the wayside to be people to fight, and I kind of wish we picked another character to focus on by the end, because by the third act, the set piece itself is a lot of fun. It's exciting, it's unique, it's a different kind of location from the first movie. I just felt like the person they were taking on was not as captivating as it could have been. That worked in the first movie because the first movie was all about the introduction, really slow crawling you into this world, building it up. You see the world through Bob Odenkirk's character's eyes the whole time, so you're not really lost in that. It's about his journey more so than the antagonist, but I think for a sequel, I could have used some more villainistic presence, something to really bring in the tension and the stakes. Because by the end, I did feel like there wasn't as much tension. The action on screen was a lot of fun. I was having a blast with it, and it was self-aware. I just felt like, I didn't feel like anybody was in danger like I did with the first movie. Another personal, just subjective thing for me, I could have used a lot more Christopher Lloyd. I love his role in the first movie as the grandpa, and I thought this sequel was a chance to give him more time to shine. He essentially has the same exact job he did in the first movie. He kind of sits in the background until the third act. I could have used a lot more of him because I thought this sequel had a chance to explore the side characters too. But with that being said, I'm asking for more characters, which would make the movie lose more focus, so I'm kind of adding to the problem with that criticism. But it is one issue I had. I was like, I just love Christopher Lloyd. I could have used some more of him just going crazy as the old guy he is. I can tell Sharon Stone is having a lot of fun in this role. I didn't feel like the writing always really did a great job with her. She was the villain I felt was just not that interesting. It felt like they were trying to do something with her. It felt like they were trying to make something unpredictable with her, like this loose cannon that was just gonna keep you on the edge of your toes in every scene. But honestly, I just kind of felt performative. It just really didn't work for me. And I think it's the fact that we don't get a lot of time spent with her. So when she finally comes into full picture in the movie, it just doesn't feel as earned. It doesn't feel as interesting as the cop that was being a shithead. I was actually much more invested in him because he had a nice rivalry going on between Bob Odenkirk, and there was this tension being set up between them through the whole movie, but also the characters were a little more similar in their headstrong, like, anger towards each other. I just could have used more of that. I was actually a lot more invested in that, but when that character essentially kind of gets moved on from, I felt a little sad about that. I was like, oh man, now I'm stuck with this villain is dead. But something I really did like about Nobody 2 were the more human moments, the slower scenes where the movie did take its beat to really have the relationships develop, the moments between Bob Odenkirk and his son, the moments between him and his wife, I thought were really well handled, and I thought that's what made this sequel stand out, and I thought that's what made it worth watching. I didn't expect to go into Nobody 2 being like, those family scenes, they're very sweet. The action was great. It was a lot of fun. Every set piece is a blast and clearly well thought out. I thought it was a great sense of comedy to it as well, while still being a little bit intense. While I do feel like Nobody 2 does lack the tension that Nobody 1 had, I still think it's a very fun sequel and a fun addition to this series. I would love to see a third one if we get it. Bob Odenkirk knows what he's doing. He's having a blast with himself. The cast and crew are having fun as well. I love the family dynamic here. Nobody 2 was a lot of fun, even though it wasn't as good as the first one. I still had a good time with it. Guys, what did you think of Nobody 2? Did you enjoy it? Do you love Nobody 1? What's your favorite action movie of the year so far? Thank you so much for watching Scatterbrain Reviews. I will see you next time.